Okay, we've got our interactive student notebooks out. Take a look here at the Prezi that I've embedded. I've put this on my website. You guys know where to find that. We'll run through a couple things here. Introduce Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark, all that stuff. So take a look here. If you take a look at this photo, we've embedded this photo for a reason. This photo has a tendency to show up on the end of the year tests. So take a look here. If you take a look here, this is the Manifest Destiny photo that you're going to see maybe at the end of the year. So we'll take a look at some of the key aspects here of it. We showed it in the book. We talked about it already once. But if you take a look here at the key aspects we've been discussing. The heavenly angel, that is the idea that you have a God-given right to travel westward. The school books, the advances in technology. The telephone wire, the advances in communication and the advances in tech also. The dead animals for hunting, the idea that you can hunt and be prepared to scavenge for your food. The Indians are in the background of the picture, that's the Trail of Tears. You have the pioneers traveling westward for fertile soil. You have the trains and railroads, that equals advances in transportation. You have the postal service, and then you have the darkness to the light, traveling westward into the light, away from the darkness of the East Coast. Just a all-word review here, guys, just a quick definition review. The idea that manifest destiny is the belief that America has the right to spread across the North American continent. Alright, now some basic notes on Louisiana Territory. We saw it on the pre-assessment. Napoleon, France. I asked you on the Survey Monkey what you had to do. At the time, the territory is owned by France and Napoleon. If you look at your guided notes, it's going to ask you there were two reasons that he wanted to sell it, and there's reasons that the U.S. wanted to own it. One, the U.S. wanted to own it because of the Mississippi River. Mississippi River is going to be vital to the success of moving trade back and forth. So let's take a look at the reasons why Napoleon might have been willing to sell the land. First, let's take a look here. I've embedded this picture into the present. This is going to be our Louisiana Purchase. The area in the purple. The area in the purple is going to show up on your project. We've talked about that. You have to embed this into your project map. But all this purple is going to be Louisiana Purchase. That's what we're going to purchase from France for $15 million. Okay, taking a look at the reasons they might be willing to sell it. Top two reasons, you have to have these in your guided notes. Make sure you get them. Alright? So you got it. They're about to enter a war with France. France is about to enter a war and they may lose the land anyway. So it's no different than wanting to get something for it before you lose it. They're willing to sell it for $15 million so that they get it, money for it, before they may lose it. You don't want to lose it and get nothing for it, so they're willing to sell it and get land for it. Napoleon no longer needed the territory because the slaves that he was planning on growing food for revolted against him. So they no longer need it because of a revolt, and they're about to go to war and they may lose it anyway. Overnight, the U.S. doubled in size. Doubled. We became twice as big. We don't see this happening anymore. We don't watch the student news and all of a sudden you see that U.S. has doubled in size overnight, or that Russia became twice as big last night. This doesn't happen anymore, guys. This was a big deal. Doubling in size overnight made the U.S. twice as big instantly. Some pros and cons. You have a T-chart I want you to have in your notes. This should all be reviewed. You should have all these notes you worked on with your partners, but this should just be quick reviews here. Quick T-charts here. You have double the country in size for a cheap price. Secure the use of the Mississippi River. Important, maybe going north and south. Remember, no planes, no cars at the time. This is all the best way to ship goods is via boat. So we don't have many other ways to ship goods besides the Mississippi River at the time. Gain lands without fighting a war. Original 13 colonies gained through the Revolutionary War. Had to fight, had to die. No war this time. Hard to govern a land so big, it's a con. I brought up the scenario during our warm-up. What would you rather teach, a class of 3 or a class of 30? It is easier to control something when it's smaller. If we doubled in size, it's going to be a lot harder to control. Some people believed it was too expensive at the time, and you're going to have Easterners that are going to become jealous of the Western states that are starting to grow and develop. So you got the East Coast, West Coast rivalry going on. You take a look at Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark are trying to find a water route across the United States. They're going to take 45 members and they're going to leave St. Louis. This is all going to show up on your project as well. They're going to collect animals and plants and all that stuff, trying to do data for others coming through. I want to take a look here at the documentary that we've embedded into the Prezi. We are going to watch parts of this. Good documentary. We've shown it in years past. All right, so you got to have your notes out still. We're going to stop and pause it and talk about some stuff. We're only going to show little clips here, but we will get it started and we will continue to work on it today and tomorrow.